Hi there. So in this video, I wanted to go through the different windows that we have available to us in Logic Pro 10. So there are different windows that allow you to do different things. And this is more of an introduction. I'll go into a bit more depth in each window at a later video. But let's just start where we are for now, and that's the Arrange window. So this is this window that you're looking at now. You know, the window that allows you to move your regions around and record straight in. So this is the Arrange window, and it's super important. It's where your whole project comes together and everything is sort of ready and available for you to look at. Okay, so the second window that I want to look into is this window up here, which is Library, and the shortcut here is Y. And down, you can see here down the left, this is where all of your presets are stored. All of the available instruments to you are stored. So really helpful. And what you can do is you can click through different available instruments, depending on what you're hoping to kind of create. So definitely have a look through this. But that's what that does. It's the Library window. The shortcut for this channel strip here is I. So this is the channel strip window. I think formally it's called the Inspector window, and we can always hover over here just to check that. There you go, Inspector window. But it's essentially where your channel strip settings and all your effects are kept. So I kind of feel like it's more of a channel strip window, really. But anyway, really helpful to be able to see, if your audio is peaking, and it was getting close here for me by the looks of it. So another really helpful one. The next one along is the Smart Tools, Smart Controls, which is the shortcut B. And if you look there where I'm hovering now, it actually tells you the shortcuts, which is super helpful. And that will help you speed up your workflow. Now what this does is it's sort of patched things that you might want to change. So if I go up to this instrument here, you'll notice that this completely changed. And if we just play this through, I'll mess around with some of these, and this is what this window allows you to do. It allows you to change things more quickly without going into the synthesizer itself. So I'll just play through and you'll see what this does. Okay, so hopefully you get the idea there. Some of those were a little less exciting than others, but essentially what this window does is it allows you to, adjust things within the instrument that you're using. So within, in my case, RetroSynth, to change things there quite quickly and easily. But also other effects that you might have in. So this bit crusher effect here, this allows me to change the downsampling. And you'll see as I move it down here, it moves it in the effect. So really helpful because it's so quickly and easily available to you. So shortcut B. Next one along is the mixer window, so shortcut X. And this brings up your channel strips in the mixer format. So it's similar to really it's an emulation of an actual mixing desk. So everything that you would expect to see on a mixing desk, but as a digital version of that. So, and these are links, as you can see here. I'll just get rid of a couple of these so we can see more clearly. So everything you need. So if you wanted to pan left and right, you can do that here as well. And if you want to change the fader up and down, all those kinds of things, anything that you could that you'd want to do. Also, you'll notice that we've got the master input and output here. And you'll see this changes up over here as well. Okay, stereo input and output. This allows you to put on any effects just before it goes out to your master output. So really helpful window for mixing, really, which is why it's called a mixer. So, what other windows do we have? We've got this editor window here. Now this is definitely a very useful one. I mean, they're all useful, but this is one that if you're writing MIDI, you're going to use a lot. Shortcut is E for that one. Now this is the piano roll, so it allows me to input notes as I want to, and you can actually make the notes a little bit bigger with these controls here at the top, so left and right or automatic. So if I want to, let's say I just don't like these notes anymore, you can select those, so that's click and drag, delete, and now it won't play those notes. So if we go back to the beginning, press play, and there we go. So those notes are no longer there. If I undo that, which is Command Z or Z, those notes are now back again. Okay, so really helpful. Now, if you are the kind of person who likes to make scores, which is great, this window within the editor window here, if you come along to this heading here that says score, we then have a giant traditional notation version of this piano roll here. So all of these blocks are notes, and this is exactly the same thing, but written out in more of a traditional way. Step editor, this allows you to change the velocity. Now, velocity really quickly is essentially how hard do you hit the instrument. So if you had a piano, how hard do you hit the keys? You know, very softly or very or more aggressively, I suppose. And how this works is you select a note that says C4, which if we go back to the piano roll is this note here, and I've changed this one C4 there to make it less to be hit less aggressively, and that one will be less aggressive when played back. So I'll change all of these so you can see, and you'll have a better idea as to what this does. Okay, so you just click on the bars and you drag those bars down. Sometimes you need to do it a couple of times. There we go. Okay, so now we can see that the color changes as well, which is really helpful. So now we've got very softly to more aggressively played. And you can actually change the velocity down here in this piano roll, which I personally find much easier to do. So, but it's totally up to you. So you can make this much harder, to be played much harder. So if we now listen through this, you'll get an idea as to what that step editor and the velocity allows you to do. So you notice a much bigger timbre change there. Now this will change really depending on what instrument you're using. So if we just exit this quickly, I'll bring this down to the classical piano, press E again, and now we're on this synthesized instrument, and you might you'll hear it differently. So quite a change there. Let's make these a little bit louder so we can hear them. Okay, so a really, really powerful thing to be able to use. So that's what the step editor does. I think it's much easier to use the velocity here in the piano roll, but that's what that does. And you can see these bars have changed accordingly. So the fuller the bar, the louder or more aggressively played the note is. Whereas these notes here, you can barely see the bar. That means these are the softly played ones like this, whereas this is the more aggressively played ones. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. It can be a bit tricky to wrap your head around to begin with, but as you play around with Logic, you'll kind of begin to understand these things more practically. Smart tempo. Now this, I'm not going to go into too much, but if you have an audio file, you can change the tempo and get Logic to automatically detect audio and analyze your audio for you to help you change tempos and things, so speed of your piece. Quite a helpful thing to use, but yeah, like I said, we'll go into this in a later video. Okay, so that's the main windows along the top here. So they're all along the top here, and if you're ever unsure as to what they do, click on the help button and you can hover over the top and it will give you a short description. Okay, as we move further along over to the right corner, top right corner, we've got the list editor. Now this tells you what's going on in your piece, and you know this looks like an awful lot of gibberish or a lot of numbers, maybe a bit confusing, but it's a really helpful list. It's a log, if you like, of everything you've done in your piece. So and it changes depending on the region you're on. So if I click on this region, we have this, and if I click onto this channel strip and create a new region, you'll notice this completely goes, right? So if I wanted to input some notes into this, I could do that like this, and you'll notice over here it starts to put in exactly how long the note's going to last. So if we look over here at length and info, if I change this to 1 bar, this now changes here to 1 bar. If I change it to half a bar, it changes it again over here. And you may not understand all of it, all of this and what I'm saying, bars and length, and but as you use Logic, like I say, you'll begin to pick these things up and realize what these do and what they mean. So yeah, it's like a log for your entire project in each region, so each little block here. Okay, as we come over markers, now this will keep track of any, if you wanted to make markers, so at bar 5 I want to do this thing, you can add in markers using this plus button here and change the name to marker. So do something here, and you'll notice it changes here and then up here, so it's really helpful. Oh yeah, at bar 5 I wanted to do something different, so that's what that does. Tempo, if you wanted to add in a tempo change at bar 5 as well, you could click the plus button again on this tempo heading, and let's just change this to 120. Now when we play through this, Command R there to repeat that, by the way, if you want to know what that quick repeat there that I did was. Let's change it to something ridiculous so we can really hear it. So 205, we're going to go from 100 beats per minute, so tempo at the beginning, from bar 1 here up to bar 5, and then we're going to switch to 205, and you can see what that sounds like. And you can hear those velocities. So completely ridiculous, but you get the point. So you can change the tempo here, and it changes here at the top as well to just allow you to keep track of what's going on. So just at bar 5, 205 BPM, so beats per minute that stands for, and just before we're at 100 beats per minute. So again, really useful to know. And signature, you probably won't use this so much, but it's there and it's helpful if you do know the key signature and the time signature of your music. You can log those here. So and if you are changing them at any point, you can change them by doing that plus button again. Okay, so right, that's the list editor. Shortcut is D. We'll skip this one for now, but this is notes basically. If you want to type anything in, you can do so there. Really helpful for passing projects between different producers or anyone who's working on your track. Okay, so what's next? The loop browser, which is this one just here. Shortcut is O, but just clicking on this one is just as easy. What this does is it's a set of different loops, so pre-recorded or pre-made bits of music that you can drag into your project, and they loop nicely, so you can repeat them a few times if you want. So let's just grab one of these. Accelerate beat, that will do. And you can, if they're not highlighted in this sort of bright white, it means that they're not available and you need to download them again. And I'll make another video as to how to do that. Anyway, so just click on the name of the loop, drag it across, and if you drag it into an empty track, so there's no track here, it will make a new track for you. So just drag and drop basically. There we go. Accelerate beat appears, and then we can click out of loop browser a second, go back to the beginning, and then we'll have this drum pattern here. Let's just make sure there's an output, a stereo output. There we go. Okay, and you can loop these, right? If we come to the top right of the region, the audio region, we get this little circle arrow thing up here. Hopefully you can see that just there. What you have to do is just click down on your trackpad or on your mouse, and then just drag across, and it says loop, stop, or create loop there, and this will loop this whole bar across again. There we go, there's our ridiculous tempo coming back. Right, and the last window, really main window, is the browser's menu here, which is shortcut F. Now this just keeps track of whatever media is in your project. So this is whatever audio files are in your project. And let's say you deleted this here and you thought, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. You can come into this this browser here for the files browser. Come down back to this loop that you had, click on it and drag it back into where you had it. So really helpful if you maybe had an audio file or a sample and you accidentally delete it. Logic does keep a copy over here in the browser, so just make sure you don't delete it from here. If you delete it from here, it's definitely gone. All right. And so the media and all files headings just to the side of project here. That's any media or any files that you've got on your Mac Pro or your desktop. Anything you want in your personal files, you can drag into there. And that kind of sums up all of the available windows in Logic Pro. And you can access them, like I've done all along the top here. And I definitely recommend really getting used to these shortcuts. So, X, for example, for the mixer. And when you use these shortcuts like this, it opens it within the window you're currently in. So within the arrange window, right? So you can drag these down like this and have both on the same screen. But if, for example, you wanted the mixer window separate, so maybe you've got two screens or something cool, you can actually come into the Windows tab at the top here and come down to Open Mixer there, and it opens it as a separate window that you can drag, out to that second monitor. Great. So hopefully that gives you a good idea as to the different windows and kind of what they do a little bit in Logic Pro 10.